Hello YouTubers and welcome to Pokemon Black. This is a game from the Pokemon franchise. Just watch this epic graphics. Pokemon started out in 1998 or 95 or something like that on the Game Boy with Pokemon Red and Blue, later released Yellow, then came Gold, Silver, and Crystal, then came Ruby, Sapphire, Fire, Leaf Green, Emerald, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, and now Black and White came out. How long ago? A year possibly? Or was it early this year? I can't remember anymore. Oh well, anyway, let us begin. Sorry if the camera is exactly good. We shall pick new game. Alright, so while this is going on, I will take some time to explain how Pokemon generally works. In this region there are 151 or 52 or something like that, I believe, in this region dex, and you can capture almost all of them. For the regional dex anyway. I am a boy, if you cannot tell by my voice. So here you get to pick your name and whatnot. I'm too lazy to switch to lowercase, so even though you can't see what's going on. Alright, there we go. So, each of these Pokemon has 6 stats. HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. That's 6, right? I think it is. Yeah. So, rotate seasons. So anyway, the stats. HP, hit points is obviously how many hit points your Pokemon has for just how many when those drop to 0, your Pokemon faints, and obviously it loses them by taking damage. I'm just gonna let it sit here for a second. Attack will help as one factor in determining how much damage your physical attacks do. Defense is a factor in determining how many hit points you lose to physical attacks. And then special attack, special defense are obviously the same for special attacks. And then speed, as for speed, the Pokemon with the highest speed goes first. And then there are also 15 types, I think. Normal, fire, water, grass, bug, rock, ground, electric, steel, dark, flying, ice, dragon. 13. Dark and Psychic. It's 15. Alright. And I'll get into more of the in-depth type listings later. So anyway, this is talking to us is Sharon. He's supposedly the more tactical of our two rivals here. I'll get into more about rivals later. This is Bianca, the goofier, klutzier one. Sorry if the camera quality is not the best. There's not really much I can do about that. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, press X. You can go into your menu. Right now we have bag, trainer card, which should have your name, save, and options. So we want to go in options here, and whoops, you can't see what's going on here, but it's on the bottom screen. But this is your text speed. You can see how fast it goes. I'm going to do fast. Battle scene on. You choose whether or not you view the move animations and whatnot. Okay, battle style. Set your battle style to shift, and every time one of the opponent's Pokemon faints and he's about to send in another one, you have the opportunity to switch out as well. And will prevent you from being able to switch out after knocking out the opponent's Pokemon. Sound stereo, mono, slightly changes the way the game sounds. It really doesn't matter. And save before IR, it has to do with infrared connection. Should be fairly obvious, I guess. And so we go down to confirm. And now our attack speed has been set to fast. So what you want to do, walk up to this box, press A to open the gift box. If you couldn't tell by the intro, Professor Juniper is a professor who studies Pokemon. She's the one who's giving you these Pokemon. So first off, we have the Fire-type starter Tepig, the Water-type starter Oshawott, and the Grass-type starter Snivy. I'll start with Snivy as far as statistics goes. Snivy is a better defensive Pokemon, but its physical attack is nothing to sneeze at. Speed is decent as well. It stays pure Grass-type all the way through, and as with all the starters, it evolves at levels 17 and 36, I think. Or it might be 34. No, it's 36. It's a Grass type. It learns, its moveset leaves much to be desired as far as variety goes, but there are a few really good sets you can use for him, such as, we'll get probably more into that later. Next, we have the Fire-type starter Oshawott. As with the other starters, it evolves at level 17 and level 36. It is Fire-type, and after its second and third forms will be Fire and Fighting, and it doesn't learn that many Fighting-type moves and not that many good ones at all. But it's still a decent. It still does learn decent moves. And then we have Oshawott, the more balanced of the three. Oh, I forgot to mention, Tepig is better in, obviously, physical attack. It's got some decent defense, and it's decent special attack. It's mainly a better attacker, basically. And Oshawott is the most balanced of the three. It is water type and will stay water type all the way through. It has actually probably the widest move pool out of the three. Although it's also important to note that Tepig can learn several rock and electric type moves, because flying types are weak to fighting, but flying is weak to both rock and electric, so you can make up for that. And Oshawott, its final evolution, can learn some bug type moves. I think it can learn a few fighting type moves somehow, but I might be wrong on that. It can learn. Well, we'll get into what it learns later, I guess. So it does actually learn a few pretty good fighting type moves, actually. And I'm going to be picking Oshawott because that was the first one I ever started with. I actually really liked it. It leaves a bit to be desired at the beginning, but it's not terrible. Alright, so here we go. Now here we have Bianca, one of our rivals. Bianca will always pick the Pokemon that is weak to us, which brings us to some of the weaknesses. Fire is weak. Fire is strong against grass, but weak to water. Grass is strong against water, but weak to fire, and water is strong against fire, but weak to grass. So anyway, this is the introduction of our first rival battle. Bianca will always pick the starter that is weak to our typing, our starter's type. But in this beginning battle, all they know is Tackle and Tail Whip anyway, except I think Oshawott learned. I think Snivy actually has Leer, but it does the same thing. All we have is Tackle and Tail Whip / Leer anyway, so it really doesn't change much about these early battles. And by the time it really does make a difference, you'll have other Pokemon to cover said weaknesses anyway. So really, you should have nothing to worry about. So anyway, that was our first rival battle. Rival battles are generally the tougher of all the trainer battles. The only thing I can think of that's harder is things like gym leaders and such, but we'll get into those later. I'm getting ahead of myself. That was my favorite line in the whole game. You are completely hopeless. Okay, so now we have Sharon about to battle us. As you could guess, if Bianca picks the one always picks the starter that's weak to our starter's type, Sharon will pick the one that is always stronger. And again, it doesn't change, it doesn't affect anything now, and it won't affect anything later. It won't affect things too much later. So just keep tackling away. That's what I do. I mean, really, it's actually, unless the foe gets a critical hit, which always basically completely ignores any stat changes and completely ignores any stat changes and does double damage all the time. Unless that happens, then it's really impossible to lose this battle, because by the time you start getting to low health, they'll just keep using tail whips or Leer or whatever. Yeah, as we saw earlier, I was indeed right, and Snivy does start out with Leer instead of tail whip. But tail whip lowers defense, and Leer also lowers defense. I mean, I don't think there's any difference at all besides the animation. I think the only reason there's two different moves is because they're like the Pokemon that don't have tails, like flying types, you know, and such, that this, you know, almost all of them start out with a stat changing move and like tackle or something. Yeah, you better apologize to my mother. So anyway, something I find kind of funny about this is, you know, the room is all messed up, and somehow tackles and tail whips and Leers manage to ruin the room this much. But what's the funny thing, it's a Wii console, it's not even scratched. Yep, you heard it first, Wii's are completely invincible. So here we go, head downstairs. So Sharon and Bianca talking to our mother. So they're gonna head to the research lab, but Bianca has to go home first. So, first, before that though, our in-game mother has to come and speak with us. And my cat is playing with stuff hanging on my doorknob. Not to mention how much trouble I had getting this to work right anyway. I mean, seriously. That's so much trouble with this. It's a good premonition for what's to come, right? Alright, so you see her walking towards her house. Her house is this one over there. That building up there that Sharon is in front of is the research lab, and we'll be heading in that direction later. So, no, 1,000 times no. So, Bianca's dad doesn't want her to go and be a trainer and whatnot. But anyway, it doesn't have much effect on the story now. In fact, it has no effect on the story now. It doesn't. All it adds to the story is one other cutscene later. So I mean, really, there's just no point to it at all. Alrighty. She's just randomly looking at all of us and pacing around. Nicknames. You can give your Pokemon nicknames. I'm not going to do it for the sake of the LP. But, you know, I'm not going to worry too much about it. You can nickname them if you want. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I usually do nickname them. Alright, so she's going to give us the Pokedex. Its page will update every time you see and catch a Pokeball. Excuse me. Alright, so every time you see a Pokemon, then you get their you know, their picture shows up in there, and you can listen to their cries, I think. But like things like their Pokedex description and whatnot does not show up until you actually catch it. You're only required to see all 150 whatever Pokemon in order to get the National Dex later in the game, which has every Pokemon from every generation, which is right now at a whopping 649. But of course, you're not technically required to do really any of it. You might have to have the National Dex to do some things, but the National Dex is not hard to get at all. It's completing the National Dex that's hard to do. So anyway, and now we shall head upwards to Route 1. She wants us to take our first step at the same time. There's really no symbolic meaning that, as far as I can tell, to this, like, at all. I mean, it really has no point, like, whatsoever. I don't know what the point is. It's kind of stupid if you ask me, but who am I to judge the professor? So the professor is going to show you how to catch Pokemon. You just sit back, relax, and let her do all the work. So what you're gonna want to do is bring Pokemon to low health, preferably red, but yellow will be okay. You can also inflict it with status conditions, which I'll get into later. And then you go into your item section, which should be on the bottom screen. Actually, I must say bag. And from there, it should be fairly obvious. If it shakes 3 times and then clicks. Why is my phone ringing? No, it's not. Alright, well, sorry about that. You actually do have to hit A to get the screen to go away. Just ignore that. Alright, it just ended. Or not. Okay, now it ended. I'm very sorry about that. God. Why must... I can't cut that out because important stuff was happening during that part. Alright, so she wants to see who can catch the most Pokemon. I'm not going to catch anything new. I might train up my starter a little bit, like off camera. I'm just going to show the 2 Pokemon that you can find on this route. So first off, here we have the Lillipup. It's actually a very good normal type. By the way, Tackle is 50 power in this game. And one other thing I forgot to mention is that when your move type matches the Pokemon's type, it gains power. It's a 1 times 1.5 boost, I believe. And so this makes Tackles from Lillipups very, very dangerous. Not to mention Lillipup has a Lillipup's evolutions. It says normal type the whole way through. I don't know what level it evolves at, but its evolutions have a very, very diverse move pool, and it's just really, it's very, very strong as I actually take hits as well as dish them out. It's overall just a really, really good Pokemon. It's not something, I'm not going to use it because I don't generally like normal types anyway, but don't let that stop you from using it because it's actually really good. It's actually very, very good. And I learned Water Gun is a water type move of 50 power, I believe. Let's check. You can't see any of this because it's happening on the bottom screen, but well, you can see this though. It's a special move, as you can tell by that icon right there. The target is blasted with a Forceful Shadow Water. It's only 40 power, but don't keep in mind the Oshawott is water type, so it gains Stab. That's what we call the same type attack bonus, Stab. So now let's see what else we can find on this route. Alright, this is a Patrat. This is easily the lesser of the 2 normal types, but it's good when it first evolves. So I mean, you know, if you want to catch it, feel free. You know, I mean, just keep in mind, it learns Hypnosis too, which like only hits about half of the time, but it can be so useful. I mean, there are better Pokemon to use Hypnosis with, but you know, that's always at least an early option. You know. Is your Pokemon alright? Alright, this is a potion. When you can use it in battle or on the road, and it will heal 20 HP when you use it, but keep in mind if you use it in battle, it will take up a turn of the battle. So, you know, just keep that in mind. And we have another Patrat here. I'm gonna show than for the first part, but after that I'll be cutting out pretty much all of the wild battles. Okay, changed my mind. I'm cutting them out anyway. Shame I'll have to go look at this back in editing, and well, it's not that big of a deal. So we didn't catch anything. Yeah. Okay, as I was saying, we didn't catch anything, and that's okay. Anyway, it's not the wild battles itself that annoy me, but the fact that I'm gonna have to go back and edit and cut them out. That's... oh boy. Alright, well, let's talk to Bianca. Who has the most Pokemon? What? You've only got Oshawott? Yep. Wow, that rhymed. She's a poe and didn't know it. She can make a rhyme anytime. That was lame and I'm ashamed. Alright, I should stop now. I should stop now. Hello, how's everybody doing? You and your Pokemon are getting along great now, right? Oh, Professor, right now I'm in front of Accumula Town's Pokemon Center. I'd like to show you around, so hurry on over, everyone. Okay, the Pokemon Center, right? See ya. Alright, so we're gonna go to the Pokemon Center, but I think I'm probably gonna cut off the video here before we enter Accumula Town. I'll keep recording for now, but just in case I do decide to cut it out, make sure to leave a comment on the video, like, favorite, you know, whatever you want, or if for whatever reason you didn't like it, then feel free to dislike it. I mean, you know, I'm cool with that. And spread the word to your friends.